Hello, welcome to Han Solo Music. I'm Han Solo. Today I wanted to go over one of my new concepts, and it turns out to be the case that major and minor are just a shape that we move around and measure based off different starting points. And it also turns out that they overlap mostly. So, without over explaining it, which I tend to do, I'm going to have everybody start off their major scale on fret 3. And the major scale formula, starting from your starting point, you move, starting point, you move 1, 2 whole steps and a half, and I'm just using my middle finger with my thumb following behind for good technique. And then the formula is 2.5, 3.5. So after you do your second half step, 1, 2.5, you do 3 whole steps in a row. 1, 2, 3, and a half. And I just do this on a single string going up in a straight line. It's a good opportunity to work on your slides. And possibly even your bends. So on and so forth. So there's a lot of different exercises. I also recommend that you do your three note groupings. So the first 3 notes, you could do a stretch pattern and work on that. Ascending, descending, hammer on, pull off. And then the next would be sort of like D mode, C mode, D mode, which is just -2. And those are the next 3 tones in that row. And you could think of the whole thing like A mode, B mode, C mode, D mode. The next 3 notes would be like E mode, a -3 block. And then the last, you'd have a stretch pattern, another stretch pattern, and then you'd finish it with a -2. And you could work on all your different patterns that way. You just have, that's like a good blueprint to practice it on. Then I'm going to have you practice your minor scale on the open string. And the minor scale is 1.5, 2.5, 2. 1.5, 2.5, 2. So from your starting point, you're going to move 1 whole step and a half step, 1, 2 whole steps and a half step, and then 1, 2. 1.5, 2.5, 2. 1.5, 1, 2.5, 1, 2. Now practice that separately. And you're actually going to perform this on all the strings, but I'm using string 1 as just a blueprint. That would be another good opportunity to work on your slides and bends. And you, just by sticking with those tones, it's going to wind up kind of writing music. You could also do your 3 note groupings. All kinds of stuff there. But the bigger idea, we'll use it as a practice model later. The bigger idea is that the major scale overlaps with the minor scale. And it takes a long time to put that together, playing through all the scales with major and then minor, and then figuring out how they all connect. So what I'm going to have you do is your major scale starting on fret 3, 1, 2.5, 1, 2, 3.5, and your minor scale 1.5, 1, 2.5, 1, 2. And you'll kind of hear it right away. On the next string, I'm starting on fret 3 for major. Same exact shape on the open string. I just played D major and was able to connect that it's related to B minor. That's a big connection. The next string, we're going to start on what is actually B flat. That doesn't even matter. We're just starting on fret 3. And we're doing the major scale shape. From this starting point, I'm going to move 1, 2.5, 1, 2, 3.5. You can work on your slides and bends, and you're playing in B flat major. And then you can do the open string minor, and you're playing G minor, and they're related. So you'll sound good the whole time you're doing it. So on and so forth. The next string, starting on fret 3, technically you're in F major, but that we'll actually work on that later in terms of memorizing the fretboard. Right now we're working on the shape of music, which is 1, 2.5, 1, 2, 3.5. That is connected to, in this case, F is connected to D minor, where they overlap. F major, D minor. A is actually the best string to start on because it's all the natural notes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A forms the natural scale just by following the natural notes. But if you don't know that yet, you can just apply the shape to the open A string, 1.5, 1, 2.5, 1, 2. On fret 3, you start on C, and you're doing 1, 2.5, 1, 2, 3.5. It's the same on every string. And you can see literally, if not now, a little bit later, on your instrument, that C major is related to A minor. I'm having you start all of these in the same position so that you see that it's all the same shape and that they overlap. And that's a big realization to make. And this gives you a practice template, but as soon as you can move this root note to different spots. And the bigger goal is for us all to realize that major and minor are one overlapping shape. And as long as we can find the starting point, we can kind of flow around pretty effortlessly. So I hope that's helpful, and let me know how that goes.